Hi guys, Geek264 here, and today I'm going to be talking about something that is not Game of Thrones. I'm breaking my streak of Game of Thrones videos to talk about Godzilla King of Monsters, but you knew that because of the thumbnail and the title, I'm sure, but I just wanted to point it out. I hope you guys are ready for the truth.
Oh, geek.
True. 64.
Geek. Truth. Geek.
Bro. 64. Oh, shit.
All right, Godzilla King of the Monsters stars Norma Bates, Coach Taylor, 11, Ice Cube, Son, the Let Them Fight guy, otherwise known as Ken Watanabe, and Tywin Lannister. If you thought that we were going to avoid Game of Thrones altogether, nope. Everything can be linked back to Game of Thrones like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Tywin Lannister. Yep, he's here. So, as you can tell, there's a lot of great talent here in this movie. Unfortunately, it doesn't amount to a whole lot of emotional connection to these characters. These characters are... they're very robotic. These characters are robotic. That's the best way to describe them. The actors and actresses do what they can with what they're given. As I said, this is some top tier talent here. They just aren't given a whole lot to really do. They do a lot of things, but you just don't connect with anything that's happening. They try and build in some emotional connection with Kyle Chandler, and you don't really buy it. You don't buy the human connection here in this movie. But, and I'm going to say this, you didn't come for the human characters. You came for Godzilla and the King of the Monsters, whoever that may be, whether it's King Ghidorah or Godzilla. Rodan's here, Mothra's here. Look, I grew up watching Godzilla movies. I had about 8 or 9 of them on VHS, and I watched them all the time. You had Mechagodzilla. My personal favorite was Son of Godzilla. I mean, it's one of the campiest Godzilla movies, but I enjoyed it a lot. So there's a lot of history to Godzilla. People were disappointed with the first Godzilla movie from 2014 by Gareth Edwards because Godzilla was teased a lot and not really shown till the very end. And it built up that fight so much to the point where that was just an epic fight. You can't do that with this movie. Godzilla's already been built up. So the way Godzilla King of Monsters handles showing the monsters and the fights and everything else is almost like a wrestling match or a boxing match. There's like round 1, round 2, round 3, and so on. And each one kind of builds up on itself. And I think that the way that works is handled well. All the stuff with the monsters is handled well. They look amazing. They're faithful to the actual characters, because Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, yes, they're monsters, but they're characters. Like, there is some personality behind these monsters. They don't have to have dialogue to portray that personality. And I think generally the monsters had more personality than some of the human characters in this movie. And that is kind of disappointing, but when you go into this movie, you just have to know that what you're getting in for is the Godzilla and King Ghidorah, the monster fights. The kaiju fights are awesome in this movie, okay? One of the things I do wish they had done was bring back the main character from the first Godzilla movie, from the 2014 Godzilla movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he played Quicksilver and Kick-Ass. I don't know why they didn't bring him back. It seemed, especially with him being a military member, it just seemed like it would be a natural fit for him to come back. But I don't know if Aaron Taylor Johnson's even acting anymore. I don't think I've seen him in anything within the last year or so. If there's something he's been in, I guess I should have looked it up beforehand. But if you guys know something he's been in, let me know in the comments below. He wasn't the most interesting character in the original Godzilla. Walter White was. Walter White was the best. Bryan Cranston. I was so upset when he died in the first Godzilla movie. I really wish he had lived and he could have been in this movie, because as far as between those two movies, Bryan Cranston I had the most emotional connection to that character by far than any characters in either of these movies. So him dying halfway through Godzilla, that was disappointing. As I said, Godzilla King of Monsters, it's fun. It's fun summer blockbuster. That's what this is, okay? As I said, I harp on characters and story a lot in all of my reviews, and I do agree. The thing is that's the foundation. Characters and story. They're the two most important things by far when you're watching a movie or a TV show or anything, because the characters get you emotionally invested in what's happening, and you care what happens to them, and then the story is what's interesting enough to keep you going. And this doesn't have good characters or a good story, and I think that's why people don't like it, because it doesn't give you much of either. But again, that's not why I went to go see Godzilla King of Monsters. I didn't go to see Godzilla King of Monsters for the human characters. So if you're going for characters or story, you will be disappointed with Godzilla King of Monsters, because it doesn't really give you much of either. I would mostly compare Godzilla King of Monsters to like Independence Day or Transformers, the first Jurassic World. It's a movie that it does not have strong characters, but you have to know going into it that it's going to have destruction. It's dumb popcorn fun. And if you go in knowing what you're getting into and you check your brain and just kind of enjoy the ride, Godzilla King of Monsters is amazing. It really is. I had a lot of fun watching this movie, and I knew full well while I was watching that the characters in the story were dumb. I really did. As I said, they try and make the humans more integral to what's going on than what they did in the first one. And I think on that end, they did a good job. What they messed up on is making us care about those characters. We really don't. And there's a lot of, what's the best way to say it? Dumb dialogue, robotic dialogue. Like everybody kind of talks like this and knows exactly what's going on. And we get lots of exposition that explains everything that's happening as if the audience is too dumb to figure out certain things and blah, 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 blah. And certain characters have all the answers to everything. And other characters are just dumb as a bag of rocks. And you don't buy any of it. So, as I said, so basically let's take it this way. These characters, on a scale from Ian Malcolm to David. Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park and David from Independence Day, both played by Jeff Goldblum. Where would I place these characters? These characters are completely off the spectrum. They are forgettable for the most part. Even the shrill guy from Independence Day that just yells David, I'm not going to try and do it because I can't do it. That character is way more memorable than the characters in this movie. I don't remember any of their names. I legit don't know any of their names. I know a lot of the actors and actresses' names, and I know the other roles they played. Nobody here is memorable at all. So, yeah, completely forgettable characters as far as from a human perspective. Now, they try and build up the organization Monarch. So, Monarch is this cool organization, and there's some plot points early in the movie that they're just kind of thrown out the window as the movie progresses. You have this whole subplot where the government wants to take over Monarch and figure out where these Titans are, and they want to kill the Titans, whereas Monarch is trying to find them and essentially protect them. And it doesn't really play a big part in the movie, but the first 40 minutes is this massive setup to try to build these characters and things that are going on, and you just don't really care. You just want to get to Godzilla King of the Monsters. Like you want to see the monster fights. And when they do happen, they're awesome. There's a little bit too much shaky cam, and one of my buddies saw it at a different theater, and he said it was kind of dark and hard to see. I didn't have those issues in my theater. I watched it in the Big D, which for let's gather ourselves, okay? I watched it in the Big D, which is the equivalent of an IMAX, okay? The Big D theater is the equivalent of an IMAX for people who do not know, which is an extra large screen with, surround sound, and I had no problem making out what was happening, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun destruction. One of the problems I did have, though, was there's a part in the movie where the destruction's happening on a pretty massive scale, and you don't really feel the massive scale of destruction that I think the movie tries to get you to feel. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it without spoiling it. Because in case I didn't say already, this is a spoiler-free review. I know I always put it in the description, but a lot of people don't see the description. This is spoiler-free, guys. It really is, I swear. So, one of the things I really want to talk about real quick is the future. Where is the future of the Godzilla franchise? Now, we know that a Kong Godzilla movie or Godzilla versus Kong movie, whichever way it goes, I don't really know what the title is, one or the other, that's going to be the next movie. I think it comes out next year. If it doesn't come out next year, it's the year after. I'm not 100% positive on that. I know it's within the next year or two. After that, where's the series going to go? Okay, as I said, the first movie, it built up Godzilla, and it gave a lot of people, it frustrated a lot of people that Godzilla was not hardly in that movie. And they built it up, but everybody agrees the final fight in that movie was great. Now, they had 5 years to give us a sequel. And you would think with 5 years of planning, we would have had a lot better story and some more interesting human characters, better dialogue, a better script than what we had here. So I don't know when the next Godzilla movie is going to happen outside of Kong Godzilla. They may have announced it. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about it. If you guys know something, comment below and let me know about it. But where do I see this franchise going? They can't just do more monster fights. They can't. They already gave us that with this movie. So what they're going to have to do is give us something new. They're going to have to give us some characters and story in the next one. Because if it's just more dumb monster action and that's it, and they're trying to use that to prop up the movie, it's just not going to work. I think it worked here just because I went in expecting that. But I don't expect that again. And if they do give me that again, I'm done. You know, it's like the story and the characters are the cake and everything else is the icing. This whole movie is basically icing. Yeah, you don't think about it and you can enjoy it. But the next movie, I want cake and I want icing. Like I want a good Godzilla movie, a solid Godzilla movie. So what do I see happening going forward? What do I want to see? So Mechagodzilla. I think there's been different versions of Mechagodzilla. There's been humans who made Mechagodzilla to destroy Godzilla. There was I think there was a time traveling plot with Mechagodzilla where people from the future travel back in time with Mechagodzilla to take out Godzilla. You had aliens. I think there was aliens in one who had created Mechagodzilla or something. So there's a lot of crazy stuff. You could pick any of these things for Mechagodzilla. I think introducing aliens would be a great genius idea and completely off the wall, which is what Godzilla is, in a good way moving forward. Like, give us some aliens. They already showed King Ghidorah, and King Ghidorah is from space. So introduce some aliens. Do something crazy. Don't just do another destruction monster movie. After King Kong versus Godzilla, you're really going to have to give us something different. So I hope that whatever comes after this is more story-based, more character-based, and is just completely off the wall. If they can give us that, I'll be extremely excited for another Godzilla movie. Because I did leave this movie excited to see another Godzilla movie. I'm excited to see Kong Godzilla. I don't really know what's going to happen in it. I really hope that they give us some human characters we care about, because Kong Skull Island did the same thing. Like, I didn't care about any of those human characters except for John C. Reilly because he was the comedic relief. Yeah, that's the real problem with these monster movies is we need an Ian Malcolm. We need an Ian Malcolm like from Jurassic Park. That's what we need. But we aren't getting that with the Godzilla movies. And if they can give us something like that, that would be awesome. All right, to recap, as I said, characters and story completely lacking in this movie. If you're going for the monster fights, you're going to have a fun time. Just go into this thinking Independence Day or like the first Transformers movie. It's a fun spectacle, and that's it. Don't expect anything more. You won't be disappointed. I think this movie is getting bashed on a little bit too much, in my opinion. I think it was a fun movie. It was not a great movie, or maybe even wasn't a good movie, but it was a fun movie. And being a fun movie makes it a good movie in my book. It just matters what you're wanting, and that's how you have to associate the rating. So the rating for this, I am going to give it out of, yeah. Yep, I'm copping out. I'm not giving a rating. Rating system for this doesn't really matter because it just matters what your expectations are really going to dictate what your score is going to be out of this movie. Because if you judge it as a movie itself, it's just kind of hard. And I'm just going to bypass it. I'm using a cop-out, okay? I want to thank you guys for sticking around this video. Thank you, new subscribers. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geek264, and I'll always tell you the truth.